Hi Scorpio, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your January 1st through the 15th, 2018 tarot reading with a little bit of astrology and oracle if necessary, although most of the messages have been pretty direct and straightforward. So a little bit about you, if you didn't know enough about yourself already. You rule the 8th house, Scorpio, and you are a fixed water sign. The 8th house tends to be, well, it's generally known as the house of death, sex, and money that belongs to others. But it's more than that. It's the deep stuff that motivates us. It is a very deep sign. Again, water is a very intuitive, compassionate, emotionally based sign. But with Scorpio in particular, ruling that 8th house that motivates everybody, but nobody wants to look at or talk about, where all the shadow work is done, all the important healing occurs in the 8th house, but nobody wants to look at it. Your waters run very, very deep, very, very deep. So Scorpio are some of the most intuitive, most passionate, deepest thinkers, deepest feeling signs in the zodiac. Yeah, I just purged a lot of stuff right there about Scorpio. I like Scorpios. I think they're amazing people. Wow. Oh, your ruling planet's Pluto. Now, you've actually, some people consider you having a co-ruler. Previously, before telescopes were invented, your ruling planet was Mars. Mars just happens to be on this day, the 1st of January, in your constellation of Scorpio in the 8th house. But currently your modern day ruler is Pluto, which makes a little more sense. That's the lord of the underworld, right? This is the guy that Persephone is. He abducts Persephone and takes her to the underworld because he loved her so. She eats the pomegranate, and because she makes that sort of unknown contractual agreement by eating the pomegranate, she has to stay there the dark months of the year. And that's why winter appears on Earth and the fall appears on Earth. But she reemerges to the from the chthonic world, or the underworld, to the above ground, to the world of all of us here. In spring, and that heralds spring and summer, the warmer months of the year. So you are about that deep, deep stuff, that stuff that Persephone learns when she's down there, about the decisions that she's made, about the choices that she's made, about the things that have happened to her, and what does that mean to her now, and that place of healing. You go to the chthonic world, you go to the underworld, the 8th house, to heal those deep things that the rest of the chart ignores. So a very important place, the 8th house. There, that's enough going on about you. A little bit about what's going on in general. I brought up Pluto for a reason. Pluto's currently, with a lot of other signs, kind of a traffic pileup in the 10th house of Capricorn. So Pluto is in Capricorn along with Venus, Saturn, and who else is in there at the moment? There's somebody else in there. Oh, Black Moon Lilith. So she just adds a little bit more of Pluto's energy, of that denied, unspoken about, hushed part of life that's in all of us. But unlike our Scorpio friends, most of the signs are scared to look at it. But that's the reason you're there. Your house and your energy is there to help guide all of us through that deep, dark stuff, to heal it. Because that's, you can't heal the wound until you open it and clean it out. That's the process of the 8th house. Sorry to be gross. So my point with Capricorn is that at the first, Capricorn is totally loaded with a traffic pileup with Pluto, with Black Moon Lilith, with Saturn, and with Venus. 2 female archetypes and 2 male archetypes. One about power, death, and sex. One about the limitations of the physical world. Pluto, your planet, power, death, and sex. Saturn is in there, another male archetype. Daddy of the 10th house. About power, restriction, structure, the manifested world. And then you've got 2 female archetypes. The beautiful love goddess. I'm not having to go at Venus. I love Venus. And then the sort of deep, dark Black Moon Lilith of the repressed feminine side, or any repressed energy. Something that's been denied or shoved down or pushed down. So a lot of heavy-duty activity over in the 10th house. Meanwhile, down in the 4th house, there's a full supermoon, and you need that energy of the supermoon to counterweight what's going on in the 10th house. So very impactful time. Holy shit. The 1st of January, full super wolf moon at 11 degrees of Cancer, the 4th house, the family, the mother, nurturing, the home, the shell of the crab, the home, all about those things. Now, also when all of this is occurring in your constellation or your part of the sky is Mars. So Mars, the moon, Venus, and Neptune are all making very harmonious trines, water trines, because they're happening in water planets or water constellation, not planets, excuse me, water constellations. And when this occurs, it creates a couple of very beautiful things on the first. So a lot of energy, but the energy is very positive and harmonious and loving, very, very loving. One side of it is relating to other people. Okay, the fourth house is definitely about relationships, love, compassion, feeling, nurturing, both romantic and familial and friendship. But also it is about the Neptune side of it is about spirituality, intuition. Cancer's a very intuitive sign like yourself, water as well. And so with this trine occurring from the first really to the sixth as it relates to spirituality, be prepared to, and you'll understand this for the most part, Scorpio, be prepared for downloads, information to be coming in through your subconscious via dreams, symbols, signs, archetypes that keep showing themselves to you. I think I use this example for another fixed sign, Leo. If a protagonist or a superhero archetype keeps being shown to you in the way of dreams or movies or pictures, or by that same token, a protagonist or an anti-hero being shown to you repeatedly, these are things to watch out for. Why am I dreaming of snakes? Why am I dreaming so much? What are these images in my dreams? Why am I running in my dreams? That's what I'm saying is this whole first week of January really, and particularly the 6th, Saturday the 6th, really listen and watch and feel, okay? Feel and watch and experience these messages from beyond, from our collective unconscious, okay? Downloads from the Akashic records, whatever you want to call it. It is your antenna. Everybody's antenna should be on high alert at that time. Even Sam Harris and or Richard Dawkins, the most hard-nosed scientific process, rationalist, left brain thinking atheists out there will feel this if they let themselves feel it. All right, that is the first. The second, and by the way, there are 2 super full moons in this month. The first one is the one I just mentioned in Cancer. The second one, and this is rare to have 2 full moons, is in Leo on the 31st, and that is not only a full super moon, a blue moon, but it also has an eclipse happening. So, and then there's a new moon in Capricorn in the 17th. So, you know, a lot of activity occurring. The other aspect I want to go over before I jump into the reading is Uranus. Uranus is the planet, the rebel planet, the one who doesn't like things to stay stuck, likes change. He's an agent for change. He's the revolutionary spirit. He rules Aquarius. And progress, technological progress, intellectual progress. So it's a sudden, unexpected change when you're dealing with Uranus. Uranus has been in retrograde in Aries for a long time. So Aries is the first house. That's a fire planet, or it's a fire energy, a fiery constellation, a fire sign. And Uranus being this unpredictable kind of Loki-esque energy, right? Trickster energy of chaos, anything can happen. Has been in retrograde. So even with it being in retrograde, with that fiery energy feeding it, you're still seeing evidence of revolutionary activity, like the Catalan rebellion for independence, or I don't know, the stuff we're seeing with you know, the continued efforts of the J20 protesters, Ferguson. You know, the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement, all of these movements that are occurring are very much that Uranus energy, that impetus for change energy. Well, it goes direct on the 2nd. When it goes direct in a fire sign, watch out. So from the 2nd forward, watch for things in the news where people are just suddenly like, I've had enough and I'm not going to take it anymore, kind of thing. That's definitely the energy that's out there with Uranus going direct. And as it makes its way from the first house of Uranus of Aries to the second house of Taurus, which has to do with will have to do with financial structures. So our monetary system might change a lot right around May forward. So things to watch for on the world stage, and of course watch for similar microcosmic things to happen in your life. I just went on a long time, so let's get into your reading. I am using the Morgan Greer, which is a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. Just very colorful and very intense color and graphics. And it's a little bit more inclusive in terms of different cultures. Not quite so pale as the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is a reading for Scorpio. Fixed water sign, ruler of the 8th house, for January 1st through the 15th, 2018. Doing a 4-card pull for you, Scorpio, based upon a current situation or feeling you're sitting in. Positive aspect to that situation, a negative aspect to that situation, and then any overall advice that Spirit chooses to relay. What is up for Scorpio, January 1st through the 15th, 2018. Our Scorpio friends, what do they need to know? What situation needs enlightenment? Scorpio, January 1st through the 15th, 2008. Thank you. Okay. We got a lot here. I'm going to take these and seek an answer from these that popped, because I can only pull 4 cards and a couple of clarifiers. So let's see what we get. Holy Hecate, creatrix of the universe, mother, God, cosmic soul, guide. What is Scorpio? Ruler of the 8th house, shadows, deep work, deep thoughts. What does Scorpio need to know? What is it in their life that they're sitting in? Where are they right now? What do they want clarification on? Scorpio, January 1st through the 15th, 2018. Scorpio, January, thank you. Ooh, you're hurting. You're feeling very hurt by something or some situation. Something hurts deeply. You're in a lot of pain right now, honey. I'm sorry. Positive aspect to this, if you can imagine. Okay, so you got the 9 of Wands. The 9s generally are approaching the end of a cycle. It's not quite the 10, but you're making headway. You're nearly there. This is the Wands energy, so this is a creative, active energy, but it's very much thin because we're at the very end of the process of that suit, or the culmination of that energy, fire. You got it in reverse for the positivity, meaning you're letting go of trying to fix whatever this hurt was. If it were a relationship, even though if you probably are just feeling, hopefully not, but you might be feeling as though you just gave up. I just can't even deal anymore. I don't even want to talk to anybody. Believe it or not, that attitude of releasing it, removing yourself from it is good. Negative aspect. So this is the 8 of Swords. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is the woman who is loosely bound, held loosely by 8 swords that she could easily escape from, and she's blindfolded. And in the background, you see a body of water, I believe, and you see a castle. So it's a woman who's really bound by her thoughts. It's a person who's bound by their thoughts. They're blindfolded to them. They're looking at they're stuck in an old way of thinking, and they're ruminating it, going over it and going over it. And it's a very limiting way of thinking. It's keeping them in prison. It's kind of like you can't get out of your own way based upon how your mind conceptualized the situation that you're in. So the negative aspect is you're sitting here kind of along with letting it go, which is good. There's also a a stuckness. Maybe that's the fixed sign part of you. You're stuck in the way that you thought, the way that you conceptualize whatever this is. If it's a project, there's a limiting belief that you have about what this project means, or what the process of this project means, or what it means to have the project happen the way you expected it and planned on it to happen. Feels like a project, actually. Like you might be an artist and you take your art extremely seriously. It's extremely personal. So when it doesn't work out, when it doesn't have the impact that you want, or if it doesn't reach the people that it's expected to, or if it just can't even get off the ground in the way that you want it, it's personal. It hurts. It really hurts, because you're an artist, and because you take things personally, and you're empathic, and you're intuitive and emotional, and that's good. I'm not having a go. It's good, but it can be crippling. So the reason you're stuck, possibly in this, and might be continue to be, is you have been stuck in a concept, stuck in a mental construct of what something about this project meant. If you are, let's say you're a sculptor, or a three-dimensional artist, or some kind of a visual artist, okay? Maybe you're stuck in a concept or a mental construct of the materials you used, or the venue in which you showed the work, or the manner. Something about the concept or the project you have a very limiting belief about. And so therefore you're sitting in a heartache because you're thinking all is lost. Or you're thinking it's the only way to go about something, therefore all is lost, and I'm sitting in this pain. Overall advice with a clarifier, which I'll need to get a clarifier on. I'm going to use a different deck for that. So what you got in overall advice is the Star card in reverse. It's the Aquarian energy, but because it's major arcana, I tend to think it's a healing. You're not allowing healing to happen because of this limited thinking. And at the same time, there's also a request that you slow down and reassess the situation. Some of the things that have to do with the this project not coming to fruition is financial. Well, it could be financial. It's pentacles, right? And that's the manifested world. That's a pentacle there. That's the manifested world. So that could mean finances, but it could also mean other restrictions that Saturn brings to the manifested world. People, places, things, time, money, but also other physical constructs that we deal with in the three-dimensional world. Transportation, allocation of resources, all of those little things that make art happen or make an artistic creative process happen, we're not working out. So you're being asked here, and I'll get clarification, but I believe you're being asked here not to give up everything, right? And not to stay stuck in an old spiritual or an old mental construct about how things happen, or how art happens, or how this particular piece happens, but rather reconsider what happened, and then open your mind. Open your mind to what might have caused that. What might have caused things to go awry? What can you take from this and learn and carry to the next endeavor? I don't want to belabor the point too long. I know. Let's see. What do you mean by here with the Hecate with Scorpio? Thank you. Okay. So this card asking you to reconsider how things went down with the project. You know, how things went down. Your agent, all the parties involved. Did people do what they say were going to do? Did you do everything you were supposed to do? Was there a problem with sourcing a certain medium that you needed for the project? Okay, that's what this is asking you to do. The other thing it's asking you to do is watch for fast talking people, and that's why I brought up agent. For some reason, agent is coming to mind, and like this is an artistic project, okay? So obviously this doesn't fit everyone. Hopefully some Scorpio can take something from this. There was a party, a person involved in the process of this that either was untrustworthy and fast talking and fast moving and promised the world and couldn't or didn't deliver, but either way wasn't truthful with the process, with their end of things, okay? And if you remove that energy, whether it's a person or a process, if it's not just one person, maybe it's a company you dealt with. Maybe you needed cement for a certain part of the medium that you're working in, and the contractor that you use promised the world or promised it wasn't from China or something like that and totally fell through. Totally lied, or was shady, overpriced, got it in late, didn't work with integrity. This party did not work with integrity. If it's an individual or if it is an organization that you relied upon to make this art happen. When you, and this is the advice here, when you reconsider this, okay, when you reconsider how things tangibly went down for this project, when you go to do your next project, you will be victorious. 6 of Wands in the upright. So I understand why you want to be here. Don't stay there too long. Don't stay there too long, because there's 2 things holding you back. One is your own mental construct of how things work and how things manifest. That could be colored by this right now. Don't let it stay that way too long. Even though you're very much a right brain thinker, you might want to employ some left brain thinking. Okay? It failed, just throwing an example. In my mind, it failed because I'm just not a good enough artist, and I'm just going to give it all up, and this is the feeling I'm sitting with here, and that's going to color the rest of my days and the rest of the art that I do or do not produce because of this experience. Rather, if you use left brain thinking, is that rational? No. You're an artist, you've studied, you've done it before, you know how to do it. Something in the process went awry. Someone, something, or some organization acted with less than integrity. In the future, you won't deal with that party anymore, or you'll source it a different way. So you're being asked to just reconsider what happened, and also definitely reconsider how you're viewing it. Okay, so I understand the need to lick your wounds, do it, feel better. But when you're ready to jump out of it, make sure you jump out of it with an actual clear head, using your left brain side, your logical, rational, analytical side, versus the part that you're holding as a failure. I hope that helps, Scorpio. I wish I had, it's not unhappy news, it really is, and you know, it's calling you to transform the way that you think. And boy, if there's a time to transform the way you think, this is the time to do it. Because you've got Mars in your 8th house, your house, and you've got Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is about transformation. That's your ruling planet, right? And Mars, being your co-ruler or old ruler, is in your house right now. So it is the time to feel the sorrow, feel the feelings, and when you're done with the feels, move out of that, and then change, or as Pluto does, transform how you think about things. And then analyze what happened, logically, not emotionally, logically. What happened? Why did this happen like that? Follow the paper trail with this party here. And then, no, I'll never do that again. We learn. Nothing is a failure for no goddamn reason. Okay? Something always happens for a good reason, so that we learn and we grow, even though it feels like shit. I hope you feel better. It will get better. Just change your perspective. Once you've finished feeling the feels, change your perspective. I love you, Scorpio. Beautiful, beautiful sign. If anybody can transform this as Pluto does, you can do it. All right. Much love.